Turns out the Grizzlies can handle them dudes, the disappointing Kings, even when the franchise point guard is ejected in the fourth quarter. Final score, Grizzlies 115, Kings 110. Game was tied heading into the fourth. Ja Morant was removed during the fourth, precisely with 6:45 left. When the game restarted after Ja was removed, it was 98-98, less than 7 minutes to play. I think a lot of people assumed that could be a turning point in the game, and it was, but believe it or not a positive turning point for the disappointing Kings, because from that point forward, the Grizzlies outscored the Kings 17-12, and they won the game by 5. So now they're 15-8, winners of 7 of their past 8, tied for second in the West with the Rockets and the Mavericks, 2.5 games back of Oklahoma City. Big Bennett, I told you not to worry about the disappointing Kings. You gonna trust me next time?
Well, I mean, I think that the Kings, they were controlling that game for a little. They played admirably. I don't think
they were admirable for a disappointing outfit.
I think that the Kings will be a top 10 team in the West when it's all said and done.
Well, that ain't hard to do.
That's a play-in. They might. We'll see what they. I think they're going to be a play-in team.
That ain't hard to do.
It's not easy.
It's easier than you'd think. When you have 3 guys who were all-stars 2 seasons ago?
I mean, okay, but they're gonna turn it, like, you probably have to have an above 500 record to get in the play-in. Yeah. They don't have that.
Right.
I think they'll turn it around and get that.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but for their sake, I hope they don't have to deal with the shorthanded Grizzlies anymore, because they clearly aren't equipped to do that. Obviously, the big talking point from last night in the fourth quarter, Ja Morant is guarding DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan, he holds a special place in my heart. We brought him back from Toronto. They didn't deserve him. We brought him back to the continental United States. They didn't deserve him up there. Master manipulators, habitual liars. They didn't deserve DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
So we brought him back to the continental United States. I have a special place in my heart for DeMar DeRozan, given what he's been through over the past year. We had to bring him home from Toronto. Can't have him up there with those colonizers. So we bring him home, and then he finds himself inside FedEx Forum. Ja Morant is guarding him. There is a whistle blown. A lot of people didn't think it should have been blown. Let's watch it together and then be frustrated.
This is the play in question. Wow.
When Pete Pranick is upset, I know I'm going to be upset. And Ja Morant was given a technical for pointing, I guess, saying something. Taylor Jenkins decided I'm going to yell a little bit too. And from that point forward, you think maybe this is going to go the wrong way. But it doesn't go the wrong way. The Grizzlies rallied. They rallied amid adversity to dispose of the disappointing Kings, despite Ja Morant having to watch the rest of the game on a television in the back. Be honest with me, Big Bennett. I know you were all nervous going into this, even though the opponent was the disappointing Kings. How nervous did you get when we got a tie score and Ja Morant can't play no more?
A little bit, but he wasn't playing good at all.
That's part of this, by the way. Yeah. That's part of this, by the way, is that he was not playing well. He had just missed a 26-footer at the other end, and he was frustrated.
Yeah.
2 of 13 from the field. 0 of 6 from 3. He was frustrated, but that doesn't mean he was wrong.
He was definitely not wrong.
He did not foul DeMar DeRozan, and I'm glad that we got DeMar DeRozan back in the continental United States. They didn't deserve him.
No, they didn't deserve him.
But they didn't foul him.
No, they didn't foul him. It was a horrible call.
Maybe the worst.
Maybe the worst. Now, did Ja deserve to get ejected? Of course he did. Like, he was definitely pointing at the. I saw the pool report. That, everybody's reposted the pool.
Did you watch? Were you watching the game with Pete and Brevin?
No, I was at the game. I was here.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
Yeah.
So the cameras, and I'm not, but the cameras cut away. We started running highlights, so we didn't have the camera on Ja the entire time.
I saw it with my own eyes, buddy, and I was right there, and I was like, oh yeah, he's about to get tossed.
Okay.
He wanted to get tossed there.
No, I actually think he was doing his best not to and couldn't help it.
Oh no!
Because you saw him like pounding his fist. That's like the type of thing you do when like I'm so mad right now, and I try not to be mad, but I am mad.
I agree with that.
Okay.
And then as he's walking towards the bench, he decides, F this. I'm cussing this dude out and pointing at him. And listen, man, I totally get the frustration because, with Ja, and he was having a bad game, so he's obviously frustrated there. But he has talked about in these press conferences his lack of calls. And he's there was the famous quote this week about how he's not dunking anymore because he's afraid of getting injured, because he doesn't think he gets the calls when he's up in the air. And so we know that one thing that Ja has done differently this year than he has in his whole career, besides the not dunking, is he's playing really good defense.
Like he's trying.
Yeah, he's really trying on the defensive end. And so to not give, first off, he doesn't get any calls on the offensive end when he thinks he's getting fouled, and then he plays great defense on DeMar DeRozan, and they call a foul there. I totally understand him getting pissed off about it.
There was a stat floating around social media a couple days ago that illustrated in one of many ways how Ja is an improved on-ball defender. And it was like he's in the top 10 in the league in opponents' field goal percentage outside of the lane. Like what he was doing with DeMar DeRozan there is what he's been doing this season.
Yes.
He's guarding people.
Yes.
So imagine how frustrated you would be. Put yourself in Ja Morant's shoes for a second. The Ja 2s. Okay?
I need a pair.
You can pick the colorway.
I need a pair.
You don't have any Ja's?
I'm a big fan of the holiday season.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got some Christmas ones coming out. Those look pretty sharp.
I've seen them.
They have a Christmas tree on them.
I like Christmas trees.
I love Christmas trees.
Live ones or fake ones?
Well, I have a fake one.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because we get in the holiday season really early.
Okay.
Like as in November 1st.
Okay.
And so it's difficult to get the good live trees that early. So, yeah, we jump right in.
Let me ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
Before we get back to this basketball nonsense. 'Cause I got a little thing going on at my house. The person I'm married to decided to buy a 12-foot skeleton for Halloween.
Yeah, those are popular now.
And put it right up in our front yard.
Right.
Big, tall skeleton. Looks like
My kid loves those.
Looks like Victor Wembanyama, but a skeleton. Like if Victor Wembanyama ever dies, and then his body decomposes, and all we have left is a skeleton, that's what it looks like in my front yard.
Gotcha.
All right. So I just assumed the whole time when Halloween was over, we'd get Wemby out of our front yard.
Nah, man. You put a Santa hat on it and throw some lights around it.
That's precisely what was done. And I'm wondering, is that okay? Do my neighbors go, isn't that cute? Or do my neighbors go, what is wrong with these people? They've got dead Wemby in their front yard.
No. It is okay. And here's why. Because the thing that I hate during the holiday season, which is my favorite time of year, is when people are like, why are we playing Christmas music? We haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. But no, everyone's related. Like October, November, December, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's a family. It's a family. You know what I'm saying? Like it all blends together.
That's what some people say.
So you use those for instance, the pumpkins that we have on Halloween, those still apply when Thanksgiving season rolls around. You can have those pumpkins. It still fits. The pumpkins work. So
I think this is the way it works, kind of. For Halloween, you have your pumpkins, and then Halloween's over, and you turn to Thanksgiving. And if you just throw some hay next to the pumpkins, now you're ready for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
And then if you just take a Christmas hat and Santa hat and put it on a skeleton, now I got Santa Wemby in my front yard.
Yeah.
You think it's okay. You make me more comfortable.
Yeah. I think it's totally cool.
Okay. So back to Ja Morant.
Yep.
Getting ejected last night. Imagine you're struggling from the field, all right? It's 2 of 13 from the field. So you're already frustrated. Can't make a shot, all right? But you're trying to impact the game in all of the ways people have told you need to impact the game if you really want to be great on both ends of the court. Hey, man, you are, according to multiple professional athletes, the most athletic human in the world. There's no actual great reason you can't be a quality defender. Usually when people can't be quality defenders in basketball, you know what it is? It's a physical limitation. You're too little, or you're too slow, or you're too heavy-footed, or you're not athletic enough, or whatever. None of that stuff applies to Ja Morant, although he is thin. Okay? There's no reason he can't guard his position.
Right.
Except for just do you care about it? Do you want to do it? Do you take pride in it? A lot of that, ask TA Tuesday when he's in here. Ask him how he made millions of dollars playing basketball. It's because he took pride in one very specific thing, and he was excellent at it. Now, Ja Morant is obviously wildly more gifted in different ways, right? But this season, he's taking pride in guarding his position, and he was doing it on that play. All right, I can't make a shot, and I'm frustrated, but I'm going to guard my position. I'm going to make things difficult for this 6-time All-Star. Happy to have him back home. They didn't deserve him up there. And then a guy blows a whistle and says, hey, you just did something wrong. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yep. And then...
Oh, you questioned whether you did something wrong? Well, now you got to leave. You can't even work tonight anymore. That's what happened. Imagine in your workplace, somebody just barges you, just doing your job, and you're doing your job well. And I know this is apples to oranges, but you'll get the point. You're doing your job. You're doing your job well. You're doing your job within the lines of what is required for you to do your job. And then somebody says, you're not doing that right. And you're like, what do you mean I'm not doing this right? Yes, I am doing this right. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Oh, now you're arguing with me? Now you're pointing at me? Well, now you go home. You're suspended for the rest of the day. That's essentially what happened to Ja Morant in his workplace last night.
Right.
Wouldn't that frustrate you?
Yes, absolutely. And then to compound it all, and Eric said this he said that here's what's about to happen. He said this on the broadcast, and sure enough, it did. It gets all chaotic and everything. There's the ejection, there's the review, there's all that stuff. Taylor Jenkins is getting into it with the refs, and then what happens? That fourth quarter takes 45 minutes to freaking play because this is the second game in a row that the refs have just ruined a good NBA game because you have 3 quarters of competitive basketball. The fans are into it. It's fun. Teams are going back and forth. And then it just becomes into every single play. Whistle, whistle, whistle. Teams going to the line. Free throws. It's so bad for the NBA. Like, it is so bad. The officials have got to figure out. Again, you can't sit there and be berated a whole game. I get that. They've got to figure out a better way. There's got to be some discussions about this because that fourth quarter sucked. Like, it just did. I'm so glad the Grizzlies won, but it's 2 games in a row now.
And it's not just the NBA problem. It's a college it's a basketball problem. The end of games, of basketball games now suck because they got to look at every little thing.
They got to look at everything. They're always going to the monitor. The play stops.
I think I'm at
free
a point.
throws.
I think I'm at a point where I'm willing to live with a questionable call if we can just keep it moving.
Let's go. I want to see these teams run up and down the floor.
I'm willing to live with a questionable call if we just keep this thing moving.
Yes.
And in basketball, at both levels that we consume, we don't keep it moving well enough in end of game situations. With the ejection, as you saw, I think Kyra put it on the screen. The NBA did confirm last night. The officials did. It should not have been a whistle. That they got it wrong. And I know there's an argument of, it doesn't matter. You've got to stay composed. You can't not play the final 6+ minutes of a tie game. But, I always try to put myself in another person's shoes. I would also be frustrated by that. I'm doing my job as well as I can do it. I'm having a rough night out here, man. I can't make a shot. It's not going well for me tonight. But I'm trying to impact winning in other ways. And you're telling me that I did something wrong when I know I didn't. It takes a very strong person to zip it there.
Yes.
I genuinely think Ja was trying his best to zip it there.
No, you're right, because evidence being what you said is he does like the...
Yes.
You know what I mean? At first, he is trying to hold it in a little bit.
He's trying to bottle it up.
Yeah, and then he just can't.
And he just couldn't.
Right.
And he just couldn't. And I understand.
Yeah.
So either way, all's well that ends well. I told you.
A shout out. Marcus Smart.
Oh,
Marcus Smart.
I thought y'all wanted him to retire 2 nights ago.
I thought he sucked. I thought that's what everybody was saying, that he sucked.
What I was reading 2 days ago was that he needed to be waived by the Grizzlies and put into an assisted living facility. And then he comes back last night. He's 5-9 from the field, 18 points, and looking good.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.